Just after the new year 2020, Eludra invited me to Games Done Quick. Now, I'd heard about GDQ here and there, enough to know that it was the most popular speedrunning event in the country, but in my 3 years or so as a speedrunner, I'd mostly stuck to my niche comfort zones. Basically, 90s DOS games, where you were lucky if there was more than 2 active runners. But I was about to learn that the speedrunning community as a whole is a lot bigger than I'd initially given it credit for. Now, I'd helped out with the Northwest Speed Fest in Seattle, and I'd just gotten through the Really Longathon. But GDQ was on a whole different level, way above the pay grade of a part-time farmer. And if I'd never been a Ludra, I don't think I would have ever considered being a part of it. Her favorite part of speedrunning was all the different kinds of people that it brought together. Different games, different challenges, but the same mindset, working toward similar goals, and supporting each other to get there. And sometimes that meant cramming 4 speedrunners into a single hotel room in a Hilton Orlando. It was awesome.
Games Done Quick 2020. My name is Crunchy Lex, and I'm going to be your pal behind the mic for the next couple of games.
It was the first vacation I'd taken in longer than I could remember, and it is exactly what I needed. One day I'd be playing Mario Party with a couple of Eludra's friends, only to find out that I'd just hung out with some of the best Sonic players in the world. And after that, I started reading the name tags, because apparently I'd recognize a screen name before I recognized a face. And I swear to the Harvest Goddess herself that I saw the name Karaoke on one of those name tags, but by the time the name registered and I actually turned around, she'd long since disappeared into the crowd. A few of the Super Solvers made it too, and I finally got to meet some of the first people I'd ever talked to in the speedrunning community. Winslinator didn't remember me at all, but I did get to meet Flapjack and talk to someone who also understood just how frustrating that stupid fireplace puzzle was, and how satisfying it was to see all these exact configurations and complex puzzles solved in a matter of seconds. Wait. Freeze it there. Is that Razor Freestyle Scooter? The Razor Freestyle? There's no way. No one else knows what this game is. Oh my god.
I'm Tapioca. I'm playing Razor Freestyle Scooter. This game is so good. I love it.
I cannot tell you how many hours I have spent trying to beat this game. How many days I came straight home after school, straight to the N64, fumbled with these wonky controls until bedtime, only to be no closer to beating it than when I started. Never have I even dared to imagine that clock tower could be beaten. And I stood there in my blinding yellow jacket and watched as someone casually beat this game like it was nothing. Put me to shame in 11 minutes flat.
Good run, dude.
It was inspiring. When I finally picked my jaw up off the floor, I told him this whole story and how I never thought I'd find anyone who even knew what this game was, let alone beat it. But I think that's the true spirit of events like this. What makes it so attractive to so many people, that you get reminders that you're not as alone as you think. And after Tapioca's run, I turned to Crab and I promised him that before I left this place, I was going to beat this game. You know, one of those promises you make at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, but it's not like time mattered in this place. And after an unthinkable number of hours and attempts later, we beat a children's video game. Just before we got to meet up with Desert, Eludra had a family emergency and we had to catch the second half from home. But we were there long enough that I remembered why I started speedrunning in the first place, and how it felt to watch someone do the impossible and realize they're just a normal person. You could do it too. We floated the idea of a Harvest Moon meetup at the next GDQ. Of course, that was before we knew how long it would be before the next in-person GDQ. The spring of 2020 was a time when positivity was needed more than ever, a safe haven from the constant barrage of bad news and bunny day eggs. So taking inspiration from Demo in 2018 and then Sam in 2019, I figured it was my turn to support the community. I still worked at the airport, Jacksonville instead of Bradley, but it was basically the same job. The biggest difference was I had the morning shift instead of the night shift, so I was leaving for work about the same time that Eludra went to sleep. I'd get home around 10, which gave me a couple hours to myself before she woke up, so I figured I might as well start catching up on some of those old challenges. Flapjack taught me Mission Think a little too well because I accidentally beat his best time in a single loop. For wins, I did a full run of Treasure Cove, and I think that about sums up how bored I was. By February, I was bored enough to consider grinding all photos, if that puts things into perspective. But I mean, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I took the time to read the entirety of SCG's guide, just in case there was something we'd somehow missed. And I never made any huge breakthroughs, but I did find a time save with the cows we've been overlooking, and that was a little exciting. All photos turned out to be a solid choice because most of the runs died before the end of the first year, and that's about the same time Eludra woke up. These days, we have a reliable way to manipulate the Harvest King winner and the dog race odds. But all I had in those days was 2 sets of fingers to cross, and so much time. The N64 cartridge became a character on its own. Some days it was just really grumpy, and all you could do was laugh at how crazy awful these random numbers are. Because at the same time, the random numbers were the only thing that kept the grind interesting. I already knew I could get all the photos by playing slow and carefully, but playing like that felt like a chore. Ironically, what allowed me to consistently stream all photos attempts without getting burned out was accepting that failure is inevitable. We're not getting all the photos today, but we're gonna have a good time doing it.
Failure is an option.
There's two terms that became popular that year, depending on the day. Pulling an odd tom is when you failed catastrophically, usually by playing recklessly. But a god tom was when you pulled off a miracle against all odds, usually by playing recklessly. And that's not to say I didn't put my best effort into every attempt. Well, okay, so there was one time when I was on my 5th or 6th coin attempt, and a looter joined the chat. She was up early. Right after that...
No.
Ah, whoopsie doodle. I accidentally locked in the wrong Harvest King. Sorry guys, we'll get it tomorrow.
Because my thumb's slippery. I don't know.
Oh, hey, Eludra, how's it going? What great timing. My run just ended.
Oh, you.
Okay. Every once in a while, a run went through, and it was almost a little weird when it did. In March, I finished a run and didn't even realize until the next day that I just slid into the top spot by about 30 seconds. I never bothered to check it because I played on the English version, but I'd somehow just taken the top time with a slower version of the game. It wasn't going to stop me from doing my morning streams, but it did get me to thinking about what I would actually do if everything went right. Now, it was extremely unlikely that all the stars would align for 6 hours straight, but if it did, I was only going to get one shot at it.